have to do what Shaun did and just
throw
Did you
it down.
almost were you gagging over there, by the way? Like
Twice.
You made, like a face, and I looked at you. I wasn't sure if...
It did not agree with me. You ever had a drink like that just made you go like...
Yes.
Oof.
Yeah, it was 151.
Yeah.
That's the drink that fucked me up.
I always let that
All
shit
the
on.
time.
We always let that on fire before we drank it.
Oh,
I remember years ago. I couldn't even tell you the time or place. It was a long time ago. But like in my recent life, like I was an adult with kids. At some point, I was like, I don't know. Me and Katie were hanging out. I'm like, I gotta pick things up, and all we had liquor wise was like vodka. And I'm like, I'll just do a shot of vodka.
Why?
And
Yeah.
I don't like vodka to begin with, unless it's like in
It's
a
a
Bloody
mixer.
Mary where
Yeah.
you don't taste it. You know. I'm not a vodka guy, so
You're
I
not
did
Russian.
this. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not a kid anymore. I could do a shot
No.
of vodka.
Nostradronio,
And
comrade.
I had that reaction. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, this.
You didn't put it in your eyeball?
Instead
of
of
that?
Oh, you're going ahead. Yeah, no, I've seen that. That's
No, I didn't do that. I didn't
But
do.
that does remind me of Red Eye.
And I
which
didn't
is
do
where we're
a
going.
butt chug. I didn't do that either.
Butt chug. Hello and welcome to Nerds of the Old Republic, the podcast where we read or watch nerdy fiction and or blow this thing. I'm going to get myself together. 3, 2, 1, let's go. I'm Adam.
I'm Shaun.
And I'm Mike.
Man, how could I not fucking start with that?
That's fucking awesome.
Dear Lord. Thank you. We are talking about today the thing I spent my Friday nights with. Not humans, but Adult Swim's Cowboy Bebop, which is one of the linchpin anime shows of all time. And I'm so glad that I could bring this to the cast because I forgot how much I love this fucking show. I'm just going to say it now. It's out the back. I fucking love the show. That's fine. But we're going to get to that in a little bit. And we're going to get to our reactions and maybe our experience with anime as we get into it. But if you've never watched the show before, we also pair everything with a signature drink. The second cast of the night is always with a set of beer selections. So earlier in the month, we had some grappa because we were reading V.S. Napper's 36 Streets, and some fat white dude drinks grappa a ton.
Which we all loved.
Yeah.
The grappa. We all gave it rave reviews.
TLDR version, Mike and I like getting drunk. Napper, TR, thank you. TR Napper. I keep saying TS Napper. Sorry, TR
It's
Napper.
like T.S. Eliot. Yeah.
I mean, still apologies.
On par, intellectually.
You know what happens is if they go search our bookshop.org
Yes.
bookshop and they look for TS Napper, they will not find it. They will find nothing. So TR Nappers, 36 Streets, and that's us on bookshop.org/NOTR, Nerds of the Old Republic, NOTR. You can find our link in every podcast episode. It supports us, and it supports local bookstores more importantly, because they source every book from a bookstore near you. So support bookshop.org, maybe support us, we'd appreciate it, but we are moving on to the second episode of the day and of the month, which is fucking Cowboy Bebop, y'all. And I think that, there we go.
Yes.
There we go.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's the first time, I think, in the storied history of this show that we've given a bell to the thing we're
The
discussing.
thing itself, that is
That
the
says
first
something
Is it
time.
right
really
there.
the first time?
It is. We've never rung the bell for the thing we've read. And you know what?
Unprecedented.
I'm pulling rank here as executive producer, which is the title I literally just gave myself.
Yeah.
I'm just pulling rank.
We just usually refer to you as my captain.
Yeah, actually, every time we walk down the halls of our work collectively together, they're like, Captain, my captain?
Yes. I have been known to stand on a desk or two.
I was going to say, I'm really concerned because those desks are slippery during
They're
the
not
wintertime.
safe. They're not safe. Not at all.
They're not safe. No, so be careful about that. But before we get into the actual media itself, Mike has graced us with a fucking fantastic can art over there. What do you got, Mike?
So I was getting both excited and frustrated at the same time as I was looking at all the beers that they had, because obviously we wanted something space related for
Sure,
Cowboy Bebop,
sure.
and there were surprisingly many space related beers, but they were all IPAs. So
One of us, not to be named, does not like
Shaun,
IPAs.
I'll name him.
Yeah.
Sean usually
It's fine.
Sean usually brings
It's
the beer,
fine.
and Sean has thrown himself on his own sword many times.
He
to-
has. He's
to
brought
bring
some weird ass IPAs.
Excellent
To you
themed beers that
Yeah.
fit what we're doing, even though he doesn't like IPAs.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't do that.
and I.
Plus, I unofficially had promised you a stout from another place earlier, and I'm like, I cannot show up with just an IPA.
I appreciate that.
So
Mike.
what I did was I scoured the place and I bought one of the excellent space-related IPAs, which I'll introduce in a second. But I scoured the place for anything that was like a dark, a red, or a stout, for anything that might be remotely space-related. And I found this.
I love the can art.
I love the name of it. It's called Chalky Milk.
Chucky.
Damn.
And it has what is not
Yeah.
exactly Baby Yoda on the cover, but it's sort of like
Off-brand Baby Yoda.
Yeah, it's like an off-brand Baby Yoda
Yeah.
drinking the very can that we're about to drink.
It's like Mac and Me to
Right.
ET.
There you
That is
go.
perfect.
Yes.
That is perfect,
Yeah.
right? So I figured that kind of covered the space thing and also provided it's a porter with chocolate and vanilla. So it's probably a thicker, tastier, creamier porter.
Thank you.
And then of course the IPA. Let me pull one off
Yeah, I'm
here.
in for that.
This is by Pressure Drop, and it is
R.I.P.
called Space Monkey, Episode 9, Rise of Space Monkey,
Ooh.
which is pretty fucking awesome
I
of a
want to drink
name.
it based on that alone.
Now
Coming
it's
at
got
it,
some
yeah.
very cool artwork on it. It's got this sort of like
an angry-ass monkey.
looking monkey in a spacesuit, right? And then if you flip over, it's got an even insaner looking
Yeah.
space
It's like the
monkey.
ghost of the space monkey.
Yeah.
Like this is
It's
some
like God mode
really,
Space Monkey.
Space
really-
monkey on red eye.
Yes, really cool ass art. Now I'm looking for any kind of tasting notes because we usually make a big deal of reading those, but I'm not seeing any other than the Surgeon General's warning.
Do you need your readers,
We
Mike?
we don't.
Do you want the headphones so you can pretend you're 1920s, Mike?
If there were anything to read, then maybe. But there's literally nothing to read other than just the excellent name and the
Is there
artwork.
anything to read on the other can?
That's what I'm reaching for now. Let's see. And then I figured you guys can pick whichever one you're most curious about here. That guy
What
did
if
not
you're
wanna
bi-curious? Can you like?
You can
pour
have
them
both.
Yeah, but the catch is in the same cup. You have to mix them.
Oh, we're right back to last
And
cast.
this one, Sean always picks ones that have tasting notes, and
Sorry.
I've now picked. I think this is 3 straight beers I picked because I
Yeah.
grabbed those Sabres ones a few casts ago
Yeah.
that did also not have. This says contains lactose. That's about it.
Yeah.
All right, so Space Monkey with the excellent Psycho Space Monkey art, or Chalky Milk Porter with chocolate and vanilla. With the excellent off-brand Baby Yoda art. You guys can pick whichever one you like.
Space alien.
You know where I'm going.
Yeah, we know exactly where you're going. I'll take the evil monkey, please. Yeah.
I think I'll join you
So-
in the Space
Chalky
Monkey.
milk. That's what my kids call it. Chocolate milk. Chalky milk.
Pressure Drop Brewing, Space Monkey, Episode 9, Rise of the Space Monkey.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, I can't even fuck with that. That absolutely slaps. We'll get
Whoa.
to that for sure.
Whoa, there's a
what you
warning
got?
on my
What you got?
beer. My beer says contains lactose.
Yes, for those of you who cannot have lactose.
Do porters normally have lactose in them?
No. Sometimes.
Interesting.
If it's a milk stout, it must have lactose. in
Are
it.
you able to have lactose?
Oh, yes. I am very much lactose tolerant.
You are very welcome to have my hazy IPA.
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm going to go with the chalky milk.
Dear Lord, 8.1%.
Uh,
And a
yeah.
straight pint of.
Right.
6%.
Okay.
And I'm driving.
Y'all are welcome to hang out.
Thank you.
So while we're pouring here,
little ASMR there.
yeah.
Oh, shit.
So would you
Right
did
on
you
my
spill?
leg.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You spilled chalky milk? Did you spill your chalky milk?
So,
From
so
a napkin.
the problem I'll fill time here. The problem with all
Oh.
here, did you need a napkin?
No, it'll absorb into my jeans.
Sean, he needs
I
a
have
little
napkins
wipey
over there.
wipe.
No, it's fine.
So the problem with all of these like Apple Music and whatever is you can get whatever you want. And so my sons, back when we were watching Mandalorian, is they would be like, play Mandalorian, and we would get Mando, where my chicken nuggies go?
Oh,
And it was like
no.
someone singing as if they were Grogu, and Mando had eaten his chicken nuggies. and it was like fucked with my algorithm forever,
Nice.
forever, ever.
We had a similar thing with our Alexa with Reese's Puffs song.
Oh,
And then,
yeah.
trust me, dear listeners, if you want to just get into your ears with worms, say, Alexa, play the Reese's Puffs song.
Eat 'em up, eat 'em up, eat 'em up.
Nope.
Not
Not
that
that's
one?
what we expected.
Yeah.
Not what we got.
Mm.
Very, very, very much different. You guys ever heard of Death Train from Shred and Reagan?
No.
No? Okay. Like super depressing. Like, why the hell did someone record this?
Oh God.
Yeah. Ask your Alexa to play the Reese's Puffs song.
I honestly was hoping for something like Snoop Dogg had like the stickiest of icky, and he was just looking for something.
No, it's not uplifting at
The
all.
munchie.
No, nothing
I'm
good.
sorry.
No, sorry.
So
Okay.
this beer that you and I are drinking, Adam, is
Yes, sir.
billed as a hazy IPA, but it does not have the appearance of how I
It's-
picture a hazy IPA. It's the least hazy of hazy IPAs. You
Yeah.
mentioned the stickiest of the icky. This is like
Yeah.
the least haziest of the hazy.
It looks like an
Yeah.
unfiltered milk stout.
I mean, it just looks like an IPA.
Or
It's an IPA.
unfiltered
Yeah. It's a West
beer.
Coast IPA.
When I think of the hazy IPAs, I think of the stuff that literally looks like grapefruit juice in a
Yeah.
glass, and this is not it. I mean, it's got a little of the fog, but
Yeah.
not a ton.
So I will say that this brewery itself has had some struggles lately. Pressure Drop had a tap room downtown. The tap room has since closed in the last year, so they're brewing out of what's the brewery out of Rochester? That it's like the experimental brewery that everybody.
Genesee.
It's adjacent. It's not Jenny's brewery. But they're brewing out of there, and they don't have a tap room anymore. So they're kind of like, they're not dead, but they're like, it's a strike against them. They're not.
I got
Is
you.
this the
doing
end
okay.
of the boutique beer breweries, you think?
We did lose 2 or 3 in the past couple
It's
years.
happening.
But I feel like it was the first wave of the third wave craft breweries, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So like Pressure Drop was here before Brazen was. Brazen's doing okay. Pressure Drop is not. Thin Man lost their tap room nearby. They're still brewing. They just make Minky Boodle now. That's it.
Is it going to be like Demolition Man with like the franchise wars and the only thing that lives will be Taco Bell?
Now, your president, Alejandro Macho Comanche, sponsored by Taco Bell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
The only beer that survived the franchise wars was Michelob.
Dear Lord. I will move to Amsterdam before I do that.
I have been known to imbibe a Mick Ultra
I
on,
mean-
on a 90-plus degree day in
Carb conscious
July.
Mike over there.
Yeah, when you're going to cut in the grass, you want to have a beer while you're cutting. A
Sure.
Mick Ultra is fine.
Do you know what I have? I have a fucking double milk stout. That's what I have. Man. I double down on the lactose.
Adam tortures himself in the
Yeah.
summer.
That's what,
90 degrees.
I got this weird thing, like I find like most people fall into one of two buckets. They're either like, I'm really into the craft beers and that's what I drink, or I'm
Yeah.
really into like just the big corporate beers that have been around forever and that's what I drink. And I'm like, I just like beer. Like,
Yeah, it's hard to be.
I
it's hard
kind
to
of
be a
drink
middle
from
ground.
both buckets.
Yeah, it's hard to be a middle ground. It's kind of like if you're like an emo kid of the early 2000s, like there is no middle ground for you.
Yeah.
So I get that. Like I'm still living my best life as an emo kid in my 40s here. But yeah, like you can have Mick Ultra and that's fine. You can have, I don't know what else is out there. You can have White Claws.
Miller
That's
Lite
fine.
is of the I don't know, is it American? I was about to call it American. Is Miller Lite American?
Might have been bought by InBev.
Is it
which
InBev
is-
InBev owns
InBev
everything now,
owns
yeah.
everything,
But
yeah.
of the big corporate beers anyway, Miller Lite's not a bad one.
Yeah.
Of
We're
course, we were talking earlier about how in Western New York we like the Canadian beers. We get a lot of
Yeah.
those, Labatt Blue and
Big up to our
Molson.
Canadian friends. Hey, can I have a passport?
Do you guys
Yeah.
want to hear what
Yeah.
chalky milk is like?
Yes,
Please.
yes, sir.
Well, let me take a sip.
Oh yeah, we're about to slow jam the chalky milk.
It's good.
Nice. I like. That's a
It'll
good
get
review.
you drunk.
Yeah.
It'll get you
all
drunk.
right.
Yeah.
That's a good stout.
I love the
Yeah.
brevity. I
That's
love
good.
the brevity.
Yeah.
You wanna hit on Space Monkey?
Yes, sir.
here?
And since we're drinking the same beer, cheers.
Cheers.
It's good. It says proudly brewed in Cazenovia, New York, right from the creek. The crick,
Yeah, it's
Kaz Crick.
made with crick water.
yes, Crick.
tributary of the Genesee River, so it might as well be a Jenny beer.
True.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
I would drink that.
That'll do. Yeah.
It's
not one I rave about, but like
Yeah,
it's also not one I dislike.
So, big up to Pressure Drop for being around for a long time, and like Minky Boodle is their moneymaker. This is not that, but that's okay.
Well, in our previous cast, I think it was Shaun advised me not to buy things based on the cover, and I said I do that not only with books but with everything.
False.
And my advice to Pressure Drop is keep doing what you're doing, because regardless of the quality of your beer, I for one will buy anything that's called Space Monkey Episode 9 Rise of Space Monkey with this psychopath looking astronaut monkey on it.
And I literally just see like the Chiron scrolling up the screen as Episode 9 tells me what's going to happen next.
Myers Creek, you done good too.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like if you just brew to standard, that sort of beer is fantastic. Yeah. All day.
Did you guys want to try any?
I'm all right with what I got right now. I had an extra glass of grappa last time, so I got to slow down.
Mike, I'll trade you the rest of that bottle of grappa for that can of chalky milk you got sitting there.
Well, I don't need the grappa, but you are welcome to the can.
Just take advantage of the imbalance here.
Should we talk about Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah, you know what? We're 15 in, so we should probably.
All right, let's
really
get to
need
it.
to get to the
So,
point.
dear listener, what I brought to the table was I was in the mood for noir after 36 Streets by TR Napper. TR Napper, which is our last cast. And we were chatting after, and I was like, well, what else fits this? And I was like, oh my God, we haven't talked about Cowboy Bebop yet, which was formative in my high school life. And I brought it to the cast, and I was like, guys, here, just make sure, if nothing else, because there's 25 episodes, and make sure that you watch like these episodes featuring Spike and Vicious, and maybe a couple of the other ones, just for fun. And we're here to talk about that, but I'm actually, ironically, the guy who didn't finish the entire series, which is 25 episodes at 26 minutes each. I missed 4 episodes, 17 through 21 is what I didn't watch.
But you've watched them
I've seen
before.
it before. Yeah, I've seen it before.
So
sometimes we start with our history, sometimes we start with why, sometimes we start with the elevator pitch. Last time we started with the elevator pitch. I'm willing to go first on this one. If you want the artsiest fucking anime you can ever see with a soundtrack that has no right to bang as much as it does, this is that. And every episode builds, but you can still watch most of them on their own, and it stands on its own. And the intro, I feel like that's all we need to say. The intro. That's my elevator pitch in 40 seconds.
Well done.
I'll what did we decide last time? Is it piggyback or dovetail that we went with?
You can do whatever you want.
But off of your point, I think that I texted you guys the same night that I watched the first episode, and I was like, I've only seen the first episode, but I can tell already I'm gonna love this shit. And I did. I my own personal history with it is I remember it being on TV when it was, current, and paying no attention to it all because I have really no background with anime, other than the kind of shit that we've done with this show. Yeah. But I became more aware of it or interested in it later because I'm a big noir guy. I love noir fiction. And it would come up often as like a recommendation or a suggestion, but I still didn't take the dive because, again, with no real history with anime, I wasn't that curious.
Yeah.
But I would say that I knew from the opening few minutes that I was going to really enjoy this. I really did enjoy it, and I wish that I would have got to it sooner because I wish that I could be approaching this cast having watched it 3 or 4 times through now instead of just having done it the one time, because I feel like there's a lot more that, I was taking in certain things and everything, but there's a lot more to get to, which we will talk about. So I'll leave it at that for now. I really, really deeply enjoyed it.
Shaun?
Fuck you, Adam, for introducing a temporal crisis to my life with this show.
You're welcome. That's what I do is fuck with people's self-identity.
Sean, can I interrupt for a second to say I love how versatile your fuck yous are.
It's everything.
Whether you hate or love
Yeah.
a thing, the fuck you is gonna happen.
Oh
It's
yeah.
there. It's
All
there.
right, I gotta bring it.
So you were
audience
saying, fuck
expects
you.
it.
Yeah.
Well, okay. It's one of those things where I'm like watching this, going like, this show fucks hard.
Yeah.
It fucks so fucking hard.
Literally has like 1,000 children.
I fucking loved it.
Good.
I cannot say enough good about it. And I'm sitting like Mike. I'm like, man, I wish I would have discovered this when it was on current, when it was like in its nadir, like.
You wish you had no social life in high school because that's what it would have been.
Well, I mean, it would have been late high school, college for me, and at the time I was very social, and
yeah.
so
and I was not.
I didn't watch a lot of TV then, admittedly, and it was just the way it is. But
It's fine.
I also feel like the crisis of the fuck you origin here. I don't know if I would have appreciated it as much then in the fast-paced time of my life as I do now.
Mm-hmm.
This is so good. And it completely restores my faith in anime as a viable genre after the crap we've talked about in the past and being like, man,
Ghost in the
why,
Shell had some issues.
Right. Why is this held up as such a like seminal work? Fucking Cowboy Bebop.
Dear Lord.
Dude, this is the pinnacle. This was Adam, this was a god level suggestion.
Wow.
And any
Wow. I'm done suggesting anything for the rest of the cast.
Any of your suggestions going forward get a free pass because of this. It was that fucking good.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
I want to smoke a cigarette right now because it's like I just need to like.
3, 2, 1, let's
Yeah.
jam.
Oh my god. I need to just sit there and be like satisfied. Like, fuck.
I will be honest, in that between 36 Streets and this, Cowboy Bebop, I was like, maybe I should start smoking. And I was like, no, you don't need to.
No.
It's fine.
I totally get,
Nerds of the Overpark does not endorse smoking.
No, we do not.
but I totally get the point you're making because I do enjoy a good cigar, but that's as far as I go. Like I've never been a cigarette smoker. And I remember as a hockey player, of course, you had to try chewing tobacco, and all my friends were heavily into it. And I tried it one time and threw up and never touched it again.
You rode the merry-go-round
yeah.
while doing the chewing tobacco, and you spat it out, immediately vomiting.
But I have this weird other side of me that I love the way it looks on screen. I think
Yeah.
it looks so fucking cool on screen.
It is the worst thing to like. I'm glad we're old enough to say both things.
Yes.
Because I agree. Like, so as we start Cowboy Bebop, that intro, Spike is like right after the 3, 2, 1, let's jam. Spike is puffing on a cigarette, and his silhouette lights up. You see his face, and then it turns to silhouette again, and then it just keeps going on. And I'm like, they make it look so cool.
It's so inimical to the character. Like the previous book, like I said, 36 Streets, it felt forced, and it was like, you're just trying to make this into a noir by injecting this.
right.
Whereas with Spike and the other characters who did this kind of stuff, it inhabits their world. It is who they are. And I'll also say, I'm not a smoker. I've never been a smoker.
Same.
But I would love to be a pipe smoker. And I think that might be the inner Gandalf in me. But like, I love the smell of a good pipe.
Dude, nothing smells better than a good pipe.
And I don't want to smoke it. I just
No,
want to
you
smell
just
it.
wanna smell it.
I just want to hold the fucking pipe
Yep.
and smell the smell of like some good Shire leaf or whatever, and just be like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a smoker though.
No.
There was a phase of my life where I tried to get into it.
Yeah.
And the reason I didn't take for me is because it was like, this makes me sound terrible, but it was like too much work.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's a lot of money.
I was like,
It's
it
a
keeps,
lot of
it
money.
keeps going out. I'm doing something wrong. I shouldn't have to keep lighting it this much or whatever. And I was like, all right, like I'll stick to cigars, but
Quick side note.
Yeah.
For our worst of episode that we teased in the last edition here, do you guys want to get like some cheap Amazon pipes?
yes.
Oh, God.
And like sit on Mike's porch and try and like
Dude.
spark them
I'm
up.
pretty sure I still have my old pipe. I think it was a corncob pipe.
Oh, while we drink
Yeah.
our crunk cup of like rejects over the years.
I'm gonna need a full day to recover from this 3-hour cast.
It's gonna be awesome. It's
We
gonna
are
be
gonna
awesome.
do
Adam,
this.
you're
All
in.
All right,
You have no
I'm
choice.
in. Sign me up. So just to give the overview, if you've never seen Cowboy Bebop, it aired in 2001. Actually, is the full run. Prior to 2001, in 2001 they ran most episodes, but originally episodes 6, 8, and 22 were skipped because they were considered too much like terrorist attacks after the September 11th attacks of 2001. And so like as a kid, I remember watching it in '01. I graduated high school in '03. I remember rewatching the series in '02 before I graduated and being like, I don't remember these episodes. But there was no mention of why they were finally run here. And it's only now that I understand why, like, okay, there were the eco-terrorists, there was the blowing up the building, there was also the semi-truck episode was, blown up with the nitro and stuff like that was 20.
You mentioned it. It's interesting because I watched it on Crunchyroll, and it said there was 98 was the original error. Was that like a few
Japan.
episodes?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
Japan. Oh, okay, that makes sense then.
So the American dub didn't happen until '01.
And that was on Comedy Central? Not Comedy Central, Cartoon
Network.
Okay.
Yeah, Cartoon Network. So they had a series of late-night adult shows called Adult Swim. I think they still do. Featured things like C-Lab 2021, which now hits way too close. I love C-Lab. Aqua Teen Hunger Force, right, with Master
Fry
Shake,
Guy,
Meatwad, yep.
And then Space Ghost Coast to Coast. I love that.
I watched that
show.
shit.
That was great.
That's how I was introduced to this. So Cartoon Network would run their hardcore, not hardcore, but like their anime that was made for teens to adults. They would do like this. They would do like a bunch of like robot sims and that sort of thing that I fucking loved. Fui Kui, which was another anime that was so weird I couldn't even wrap my head around it. I can't explain it. And then this was first. And my Friday nights, so I would work at a local sports center until 12 o'clock a.m., 4:30 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Damn.
I would get off my shift. I would clean. I'd get home at like 12:35, something like that, because I live close. And then I would watch this shit because I had no life. And
really doesn't sound that bad to me.
No, it doesn't sound terrible at all.
That's probably just middle-aged me speaking.
Yeah.
I
know.
I
would finish up my shift at Home Depot and go home and put on Adult Swim too. Space Ghost
Right?
is usually the last thing I watch, and I go to sleep. But.
And if I'm just Space Ghost was the last thing I'm sorry.
That's
all right.
I'm not a night owl.
Yeah.
I'm not a night owl.
Just to give you the plot, so Cowboy Bebop, a handful of bounty hunters trolling the universe for their bounty to make their money. Get that wad. Yeah. And every episode was unique in that it had a different style or genre of music. Sometimes it was, the idea was like Cowboy Bebop was a fusion of genres together. But sometimes, literally, they were known for their their jazz. Sometimes they were known for their bop. Sometimes, like, literally the band blues.
Wasn't there a tagline on the one thing that said when the genre transcends something, it becomes something new to itself? And it was like that totally defines the show.
So every commercial break, they would do a bumper, and the bumper was in Japanese and in English, but you really had to look to see the English.
Oh yeah, it was hidden.
And it was like some sort of phrase related to what the artists wanted you to understand from the music. And so that was a big part of it. As I pet my own Ein over here, my own Corgi.
It's a total Ein dude, for sure.
He is a total Ein vibe here going on. And so the cartoon became known for its music and its genre. And so, like, the band Tank was formed, the orchestra Tank was formed just to make the music. And it dissolved after the 25 episodes and then was reformed for the Netflix.
Dude, they fucked too.
Oh my god!
Dude, that whole thing. Just,
oh my god!
It fucks.
I'm not even kidding when I would say I would drive in my '93 Saturn SL1 with the fin. Thank you. The fin on backwards, the low-profile tires, and I would play "Tank," the opening theme song by the Seatbelts.
So good. That mod 60s vibe it opens with is perfect. Yeah. Nope. Perfect.
Yeah, and like I had literal fantasies because I was a nerd in high school of hitting that note at the end. But I didn't know it was a saxophone until later in my life. Saxophone. So like this series is known for its genre. It's known for its anime. It's known for its directing. It's known for its music. I'll pay $60 all day for this.
Dude,
all day.
Honestly, I am stunned by how much I appreciated this And again, you know me, guys. You know, dear listeners, you know I'm not without my criticisms, and there are a few things about the show that I could have done without.
Totally. There's some weird episodes in there.
Right. There's, like any great series, there's going to be some low points, and there's going to be some low, like, stuff that they put into it. But for the most part, as an overall experience, holy shit. If you have not experienced it, do it. Stop everything and find Cowboy Bebop wherever you can get it and watch it in its entirety. It is that fucking good.
Yep.
I want to stay with the music thread for a second here.
I thought that might be your vibe.
Yeah.
Our resident vinyl collector.
I've been saying for years that I think that one of the most, if not the most interesting things happening in music right now, in the year of our Lord 2025, is jazz music.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think it really started in like around 2015, 2016. A big catalyst for it was Kendrick Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly." He featured jazz artists beginning to end on that album.
Yep.
One of which was tenor saxophonist Kamasi Washington. And since then, I mean, you've had an explosion of really interesting modern current jazz. I won't bore the audience by like naming artist after artist after artist. But prior to this whole explosion of jazz music that's happened just within the past decade, jazz felt dead. Like
Yeah.
it felt like
Wynton Marsalis was feeding on the corpse of any trumpet player.
you felt like
Respect,
jazz
though.
was, if you liked it, you liked it. You know what I mean? If you were like a music scholar or an instrumentalist, you were a trumpet player. I was
Yeah.
a saxophone player. So like, you know, like I dabbled in it and I listened to it a little
Sure.
bit, but like
This was the music of protest, but actually now it's become widespread.
that, it felt more like a museum
Yeah.
piece. Like
Yeah.
this is like a part of American history and whatever. But it didn't feel current. It didn't feel modern. It did not feel that way until about 10 years ago. And then a super interesting thing started happening. Like I said, Kamasi Washington, I think, was one of the catalysts. Now you got people like Esperanza Spalding and Christian Atunde, and you've got shoot, I'm forgetting the guy's name, but he's in like 3 different bands. He's a tenor saxophonist too. Sons of Kamei. There's just so much good shit happening in jazz right now. They blend genres. Lotus Flower. Lotus Flower. Am I saying the right thing? He does more like a hip hop sort of DJ style. But they blend genres. They bring in like, you know, African style jazz, and like they do all kinds of crossover genre shit. And I say all that to say this. This was like 15 or more years prior to all this happening.
Yep.
Right? Like the show came out in the late 90s. It hit American audiences in 2001. And for it to feature jazz, not like watered down jazz, not like we're going to do like hip hop, but with like a saxophone.
This was like Bob.
It was proper jazz music.
Yeah.
How many space battles unfolded to like a saxophone solo in this series, you know?
Jet's hammerhead flying
Right.
through space.
And like watching it now, I'm like, you know, I could see this show coming out now and that being the choice. But I had to keep reminding myself that this shit came out when it did. That's fucking bold. That was a bold musical choice.
Yep.
And of course, you know, as you said, jazz was, I think, the prominent thing. But there were all these episodes too where you got like the fucking blues harmonica and like different shit.
yes.
Man, it was fucking musically speaking, like that alone. It was I think we've talked before in this podcast about how much the music has made certain franchises like Star Wars wouldn't be Star Wars without them deciding to do the classical.
Without John Williams.
Lord of the Rings wouldn't be Lord of the Rings without that fucking soundtrack.
Retweet John Williams.
And Cowboy Bebop is amazing, but dude, the soundtrack is what puts it over the
Yoko
top.
Kanno and the Seatbelts. Dear Lord, like I am not kidding. High school Adam would bump this soundtrack on the way to school at 8 in the morning.
It's good. It's great. It's, you know, you say like this all this about jazz, and it's like I always thought of jazz as like this period kind of piece. Like, I drive a Bullitt Mustang once in a while in the summer. I got a 2008 Bullitt Mustang, which
Once
is
in a while. This is a storied story.
yeah. If you know, you know, kind of a thing. Like, right, it's a special edition Mustang. It's not that great, but it's like the whole point of it is it fits the 1968 movie Bullitt. And the whole theme of that, or the whole soundtrack of that movie, is all done by Lalo Schifrin in like this progressive jazz kind of feel. In like driving my car, since I put the soundtrack on, I'm like, yeah, that's how I felt watching Cowboy Bebop. Like this, I'm fucking cool. I fucking rule everything around me. this jazz music fucks. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like nothing about it felt okay. I shouldn't say nothing.
Some things.
One or two things about it felt cringy, but the rest of it felt so note perfect. It's like one of those like, my God, it's like one of it's like a friggin' like Italian cathedral
It's a
from the
magnum
Renaissance. It's yes,
You cannot
It's-
fuck with it.
it's so fucking good.
Do you want to hear something nuts? It was Watanabe's first series as a director, and it's a masterwork.
Dude,
Literally, 100% Rotten Tomatoes and 95% popcorn meter. Perfect.
don't doubt
Just-
it. You could take
chef's
the mic,
kiss.
drop it, walk away,
Walk
and
out.
disappear, and never do another thing in your life, and
out.
you're still regarded highly for the rest of
Yep.
existence.
Yep.
It's that good. If you haven't seen it, you have to watch it.
Oh my god, the blend of kung fu, gunplay,
Yes.
space opera,
Yes.
and wandering samurai.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
How many have tried and failed where this show succeeds?
Yep.
Seriously.
Yeah, so I dropped those facts, and it was Watanabe's first. Like, Watanabe's. Dear Lord. Could you imagine?
What's he done since? Anything?
I haven't looked. I'm not hating on Watanabe. I just have not looked.
But that's the thing is like, I mean, like you hit a home run in your first at bat.
Citizen Kane, right?
Yeah.
Well, but that wasn't.
That's where you're at.
That wasn't his first movie though. You know
No,
what I
but you
mean?
do that first. What
That
do you do next?
was his first movie.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
He went right from radio to Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane was his first movie. Yes, it
Get
was.
the fuck out of here, Orson Welles.
Oh,
Yes.
I believe it.
All right.
So,
Adam, get your editing button ready in case
All
I'm
right.
wrong. But
So while Mike is chat GPTing this shit, just as a filler, each episode is its own little self-contained exploit, with the exception of a couple episodes. So
there's like an overarching thread. They sort of weaves this.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
right. By the way,
I
right.
knew it!
I'm
Citizen
impressed.
Kane, 1941.
I knew
I'm
it!
impressed.
I believed you.
Color me impressed.
I believe in mine. Anyways,
Keep going. No, keep going. I
no,
wanna
R.
hear it. I wanna
Kelly
hear
had
it.
some real weird.
And
legal
Anna wants to
problems.
pee on you now. All of a sudden.
I'm on Pia, and no. Anyways, so getting back to Cowboy Bebop, like, it was the genre that I think really launched anime in America. Honestly, because it had noir, it had cyberpunk, it had space opera.
Yeah.
Each episode was individually contained. You could watch one or two, but then there was the Spike and Vicious like through line. There was the Faye through line, where Faye Valentine did not know who she was until 17, 16. My Funny Valentine.
Second or
was
third
the
to last episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
close to the end. Yeah.
She finds out literally she was brought back from the dead, essentially, and owed $1 billion wong, essentially, to like somebody.
She owed a ton of Wulong to like
Wulong, thank you. Wulong.
like whatever. But her story. All right, let's talk about Faye for a minute.
Yeah, get on the Faye train.
Okay, Faye is awesome. She's hot. And again, she's a cartoon, but
She is stereotypically anime hot,
But
which
she's-
means she wears hot shorts and a tube top and suspenders.
But
I
she's
don't
also-
understand the suspenders.
yeah, it's weird. But she's also
It's a
Suspenders are
vibe.
weird.
It's
She-
a vibe.
And the way they went, by the way, stay on the suspenders point here just for a
Sure.
second. They go out of their way to show the bulge of the suspenders under the shorts,
I understand what
which
you're saying.
I find to be like an oddly specific detail you could have done without.
They give her camel toe. She does not need that.
No, that's I
does
agree.
not.
Like just
Because she actually legit, like, wrecks people in her life.
she's tantalizingly animated for sure, but she's also like realistically animated in a way where a lot of anime goes for the huge knockers, like
42, 36, 22.
yeah, like they go
Yeah.
for like in insane proportions. She's more realistic in that regard, which I think I give a lot of credit to the animators for showing some restraint with her.
Some.
But her character is she's got such an interesting arc because she goes from being like a wealthy, like, where the hell is she from, city state in Southeast Asia, whatever.
See, this is when I talk about wanting to rewatch this.
Yeah.
This is it.
I have
Yeah.
no real sense of the geography, but I feel like
No.
that would enrich the experience.
Because I was going to say
yeah.
Ganymede, but Ganymede was the
No,
lobster.
she was before all like the colonization of the solar system. So
Yeah.
the
She was a
timeline-
weird body.
Right.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly. The timeline of the show is a little bit dated, I think, because all this happens like the 2060s, and it's like
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way we would have colonized the solar system. There's no way we would have done all this terraforming and all these asteroids, moons, and planets by then.
I think
mean,
a big
no way.
exponential growth.
But I think a big part of the plot is
But I
that
get you.
something happened to devastate Earth and render
Yes.
it basically uninhabitable.
Well,
Nobody lives on it.
which sped up. Like,
There's a
the
gate issue, like a
colonization.
gate.
Yeah.
There's the
like-
space gate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was injured before that. Like all this stuff happened. She's frozen. Anywho, she adds that drama to it. You got Spike and his like ex, whatever
Julia.
crime syndicate
syndicate.
issue.
Syndicate,
Yeah.
He's the whole thing with Julia and Vicious, and he's got the one eye that only sees the past, and the other eye that only sees like the now.
I
Fucking
still
awesome.
get goosebumps
Oh,
saying
dude.
that.
Awesome. He's
Still
like
get it.
he is such a well fleshed out but still mysterious character. He's fucking fantastic. Jet and his ex like being a police officer and now he's a bounty hunter. Like he's
The
now
dog
the
that does not let
father.
go when he bites.
Ein.
Yep.
The only problem, and this is where I'm going to get
Are you
into
gonna
my
bring up
issues here. Edward is such a tonal slap in the face.
It's almost as if they realized they were too serious, and they're like, "We need a joke, so let's throw Ed in
but
there."
this is where to
Space
me,
hacker Ed,
oh, yeah,
introduced in episode 12.
this is where anime always falls down for me. The treatment of children as these like fucking bonkers. They all got ADHD.
Yeah.
They're all fucking ridiculous. And wee woo wee. They all make fucking weird ass noises and do gymnastics or whatever. Couldn't
But are
Edward have,
savants.
yeah, exactly. Couldn't Edward have
Yeah.
been a little bit more down to earth? But no, she's this fucking bizarro. I don't know if she's a boy or a girl. I don't know what's going on. Oh. And she can
It's-
hack all these systems. That to me was like
Yeah.
completely superfluous. The show was note perfect without her, and I get the plot device to push some of the stories forward. You needed the hacker,
Right.
but it could have
Yeah.
been so much better executed.
And when Ed first came into the show, I oddly liked the character
Episode 9 or
because
10.
yeah, like she was like an antagonist in that episode, right? Like she was
Right.
like this brilliant
Yeah,
Took
she
over
was
the
the
hacker they
hacker.
were trying
She
to
took
find.
the bebop and
And
like
it was like she was a
Yeah.
little eccentric, but it was like okay, like that's cool, like a
But the
little
satellite
eccentric.
had its own AI, and
Because
it was
you
just
had-
lonely.
The show was
Lonely
already
AI.
so stock full of very stoic characters that a little eccentric character was like cool. It was welcome. But once she joined the crew and became like a regular character, it was like that's all she was.
She was kind of a nothing burger.
right. It was always like you said. It was always just weird noises,
Right.
and then she would do this like I don't know if it's exactly like God out of the machine, but it was like a lot of times like she would just be being weird, and then she would like hit the keyboard with her toes and like magically solve whatever problem. you
Toys
know?
in the attic. She would
Yeah.
eat the
Right.
lobster, and the lobster would be like, okay, all the like creepy goop is gone from Toys in the Attic
Yeah.
episode, so
Yeah.
she's fine.
too tonally dissonant, too bizarre. They could have dialed that back a lot, but I'm nitpicking.
Yeah.
As a whole,
Still near perfect series.
oh my god, it is like the main through story, all the little like side junctures. I even watched the movie.
Which I did not make time for.
It felt like
I'm jealous.
people were clamoring for more, and they were like, okay, well, let's do an extended episode, essentially.
But
is what it was.
Watanabe refused to release more episodes. He was like, 25 and done.
Dude,
Get me out.
I salute that as an
Yeah.
artist.
Yeah.
Dude, the balls to say, oh, you want to pay me a dump truck full of money to make more?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you. That's my art.
Right.
It's done.
They
Right.
tried to bring
Oh,
him back for the Netflix series, and it made 6 episodes, and they're like, this is not the right tone. We're done.
Yeah.
We're
Didn't even
walking
bother
out.
watching
We're
it.
walking out.
Didn't
no,
bother.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Couldn't do it.
So I mean I just I think I already said this, but I think I texted you guys after the first episode. I was like, oh, I'm gonna like this. Mm-hmm. I mean I have made much because there's been much opportunity on this podcast of ours to talk about how much I like noir fiction, but
Yeah. This
there's
was that.
been less opportunity for me to talk about how much I like westerns. I fucking love westerns.
Yeah.
I love them. I love.
This
I
was
love,
kind of a spaghetti western.
love
in a way.
watching, and not
Yes.
every episode exactly, because
No.
a lot of it could get very urban. But then there were other episodes where they would go to like essentially border towns, you know, like there was
Yeah.
one episode, I think it was in the final third or whatever of the series where like there was like an old ass Coca-Cola sign like hanging outside of a bar that they were going into. And I'm just like, God, I fucking love this shit. I fucking love the aesthetic.
The bounty hunter episodes where they would be like, listen, now we've got this
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
30,000
Oh,
move
Top
on bounty.
Shots.
That was
the chick with her
Top
boobs
Shots.
hanging out.
And
Yeah.
episode 25, you see the black guy from Top Shots in the airport, and he is fired. And
Yeah.
the blonde, he's like, I don't know, my co-host is like marrying her agent.
Yeah.
They close all of the tight
Oh,
ends.
and the last
They
thing too,
close it all.
where they basically shut the show down, she's
Yes.
all like, "What the hell am I doing
Right.
here?" Yeah.
Yes.
She, her voice drops and
Right.
everything.
It
yeah.
just comes out of nowhere too.
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we have an update. Like our ratings are in the gutter, so like
Yeah.
the show's over. And like she's like, what the fuck? And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, they close
Yeah.
every loose
They really
end,
do.
and
They really
it's
do.
so impressive. Like, I will pay the $55 to own this.
It is an
Hands down.
excellent, and not unlike Star Wars, it is a fantastic fusion of disparate genres. You've got the samurai,
Space opera, samurai.
Ronin, you've got the space opera, you've got the western, and it all fuses so well. The
Yeah.
world building, and again, notes to anybody who's thinking of creating something. There's so much left unsaid, but it doesn't have to be unsaid.
Right.
Like, why are these asteroids and moons? Why does it feel like it's the late 90s in these places and
Yeah.
everything? It doesn't matter. It's the feel,
Why do we need
the
the space
tone.
gates?
You don't need to over-explain everything. I don't need a fucking info dump. I don't need some, like, voiceover explaining everything. It just is. It exists. It's the story.
Right.
And it works so perfectly.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
There- I was happy about the Netflix pickup, and then I wasn't. So, like, just leave it be. Just let it. One thing we're not used to in this society is just letting it be. The
Some
story's
things just
over.
exist. Don't
Spike
do
is
more.
Spike is either dead or not dead.
Right. He's
but
dead.
It's okay.
He's dead. He's totally dead.
You cannot. So I always see episode 26 or 25, whatever it is, and I'm like, no, he's dead, dude. He's dead.
Totally dead.
But the Netflix series is like, they find him in a back alley.
No.
No. I want him to either be dead or not dead. Schrodinger's cat. Like,
Yeah.
let him be dead.
I have a feeling
It's a great ending. Yeah. As
the,
is. Yeah.
I have a feeling
Don't
the
need an
intent,
answer.
Sun rising on Spike dying in
Yeah.
the alley.
yeah, the intent is he's dead because
Yeah.
he fulfilled everything about his life, his purpose. He was already dead. He came back. The whole Julia thing, vicious. It's
Right.
all over. He's dead.
But I don't even need that to be the answer. I like the question. It's
Yeah.
like the ending of Inception, you know, like the
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
spinning top and it wobbles,
Yeah.
cut to credits, and you can then construct like any
Yeah.
conclusion
Make
you
me do the
want.
work.
Yes. Which I thought was great because I was watching it and I was like, what the fuck? And my first instinct was I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to be like, does Spike die? And then I stopped
let it be.
myself from doing
Just
that
let it be.
because I'm like, I'm at least going to wait till we do this podcast and see what we talk about
Yeah.
before I seek out the
If
answer.
you think about the last few episodes, Faye knows who she is now.
Right.
Yeah.
She's not.
Her debt is paid.
You're right. She's not conclusively tied up, but you at least get the impression that she's in a better place than she was when she started. Ed is moving on with Ein to find her father, whatever.
Oh,
She's in a better
Ein.
place, whatever.
I have a
that's
Corgi
fine.
myself, so I associate with Ein.
All right.
Where's my Corgi?
Obviously, the main character, what's his name? Sid, or not Sid,
Spike.
Spike, sorry,
Spike.
Spike. Spike has achieved his arc. The only one that's kind of left in limbo, I think, is Jet a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Faye to an extent, but Jet,
Jet-
really is...
was it Black Dog Mama or whatever it is, where he gets his say and he like gets retribution on his former partner
Yeah.
who sold him out.
Right. No,
Right.
he gets a conclusion to his backstory.
Yeah.
But, like, he and Faye are kind of left in this, like, where do we go now? Are we going to still be bounty hunters? What are we doing? Because Jet really became, like, the father figure to the whole crew.
Yeah.
And Spike was
It's
always...
his ship.
Yeah, exactly. And Spike was
Bebop
always
is
like
his.
the sort of like, I'm here, but I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah.
Faye was always kind of like, I'm not sure, see how this goes. And Ed was always transient.
They were
Like,
trying to get rid of Ed the
right,
whole time.
Right, the whole time. But I feel like Jet was the only one who was kind of left with a little bit of not sure what's going to happen with him, but he did resolve his demons from the past. So did Faye. Spike's taking care of
Yeah.
everything, and Ein and Ed are on their way.
Poor Ein.
It's satisfying. There doesn't need to be more. I
No.
don't need to know. That's it. It's
Yeah.
over. If anything, it's like Star Wars. Give me some other stories in this universe. I love the world building with the moons of Jupiter and Saturn are all colonized. These asteroids in the
Ganymede.
asteroid
Tell me more
belt.
about Ganymede.
Yes, Mars is now the center of human existence. Like Earth is kind of like, well, it's fucked because the moon is raining down on it constantly.
Oh,
Like,
God, we broke the moon.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's some really cool shit going on in there, and I love how it's all intra-solar system where they don't have to go outside of it. It's all like very localized in an extent, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I would love to see. Give me a different crew. Give me something else. Give me different people in that world. I'm down with that.
So, I mean, to me, one of the biggest. So we've talked about the music. We've talked about the genres, the characters. So to pick up on the last point you were making here, to me, one of the biggest draws of this was just the overall aesthetic of it. We've talked about Star Wars before, and like when Star Wars is at its best, it's like, what do you want to call it? Like junk sci-fi, or like it's not like shiny,
Beach
like
read
glittering.
sci-fi.
No, I mean like it's not like shiny, glittery, like everything's brand new and
No, I
polished.
mean,
It's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's like the fucking speeder that hovers off the ground sounds like a lawnmower and is all rusty. You know what I mean?
Decayed
Like,
futurism.
yeah. There you go. Thank you for putting an intellectual title on it, right? And
Patent
for
pending.
me,
TM.
this aesthetic of this show was mostly that. Because when you go to those like backwater towns, it's obviously that. Like I said, the old Coca-Cola sign, and there were so many of those bar scenes with like the trio of old guys. That,
Yeah,
you know,
those
and like
guys.
all of that.
There are
shit.
literal cars, and then there are spaceships like the
Yeah.
Hammerhead
Yes.
Jets spaceship.
But then even when we go to like the urban settings, it's not like a super glittery, futury sci-fi urban setting. We had a little.
Wait.
We had a little,
Grappa hit me hard.
Ding to Adam for saving that. He almost spilled a big mess on the ground here.
Caught that soy sauce.
how skilled are we at editing? Can we put this in the bloopers at the end of the show?
That's our outtake reel at the end of the episode when we drink the King's Cup, which is everything we don't like.
No, it's in and that's going later.
Yeah. But even when we go to the urban settings, like the places they go are still like the seedy bars or like the pet stores where he ends
Always.
up getting iron. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I love how their ship is always like. It's always in the fucking water. It's like in
Yes,
a, dock,
spaceship in the
like,
water
I think
leaning
it's
in
so.
the dock.
Well, wait,
Like,
it
yeah.
all
was
that
a boat
shit
that he turned into a spaceship, right? Isn't
Right.
that like the
Yeah,
the
which is
backlore?
kind of nuts.
Yeah.
And the spaceships too. Like that's one of the things I always loved about Star Wars is how they're not all fucking Star Trek like shiny, pristine
Yeah.
computers. They're fucking like warehouses or factories with like rockets attached that are in space. And that's how the spaceships feel here too. You feel like it just opens up to like rooms and dark caverns.
And they're always hand to mouth. Like they're always like, oh, what are we gonna eat now?
Right.
Oh, more of the same bullshit, you know?
Right.
Gonna eat
It was
the
great.
dead Ganymede lobster that makes me fucked up.
Bell peppers and beef is like the
Yeah.
one they always
Yes.
go back
Or
to.
Ein's food. They steal food
Yes,
from
they
Ein
eat
for a couple
dog
episodes.
food.
Yep.
They're just bad at their
Mushrooms in one
jobs.
episode.
Where is my corgi? Where's my Ein?
Oh,
But
he
yeah.
disappeared.
Yeah, he's been here for most of the episode.
But
actually.
that fucking like trashy future.
Yeah.
That's what I love. I love
That
that.
feels
that
real.
Garage punk future. Is
Yeah.
Love it.
I'm
Future trasherism.
so drawn to
Yes.
that aesthetic.
Do we want to? I don't know if this is a TM, but can we TM like garage punk futurism? Like as I'm listening to both of you saying like garage punk futurism.
I think you just did, and we
love it.
will aggressively sue anybody who uses that term without our permission in the future.
TM Nerds of the Old Republic. I will write garage punk futurism right now,
Perfect.
We will bring our entire legal department after anybody who
which
uses.
is literally my tax guy.
Man, you don't want to get fucked by the long dick of the nerds, people.
Yeah, all 3 inches of it will fuck you up. So
and that's combined.
Oh, yeah. Ouch.
it's a wonder we procreated. Okay, so I guess we are to the recommendation portion, and I'm like a duh yes,
Yeah.
like easy yes. Buy the soundtrack, buy all 25 episodes, pay Apple or whoever 25 or $45, doesn't matter. Just do it.
Yeah, I'm obviously yes. I feel like I have so much more to say. Like I feel like we could do 2 or 3 episodes on it.
Easy.
But yeah, I mean it's a resounding yes, and as I said to start the show, like I wish I had got to it sooner. And I will certainly be rewatching it.
You're welcome. I had no social life in the high school.
This is where I say no. Like,
Stop it!
fuck. All right.
No, you can do whatever you want to do.
Look, guys. Usually I'm the contrarian. I'm always like going against the grain. Damn. against the grain.
Actually,
You know what I mean? Like Mike's usually sort of ambivalent, and he's into it.
Usually, yes.
And I'm usually like, fuck no. But I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna break character here. Watch this fucking show.
Yep.
If you have not watched this, watch it.
1
Watch
through
all of it.
25. Do not stop.
No, and enjoy it. Don't like be on your phone
No.
or doing like multitasking, like you're doing the dishes or whatever while you're watching.
No,
You give it your attention.
Yeah.
It is good. It is that good. And if you haven't watched it, make sure it is high on your list of your watch series because you need to watch this fucking show. It's amazing.
It literally combined between the Rotten Tomatoes and the Tomato Meter is considered perfect.
Yeah.
Like perfect.
I will agree. Even Ed notwithstanding.
Oh.
It is perfect.
I want to throw this out here real quick too. I meant to make this point earlier. Like the English dub was fucking amazing.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Like that's always kind of a hang
bad
up for
at
me
all.
with this kind of stuff. The anime stuff is always I'm like, it's cheesy. I'd rather watch it in the original language and read the subtitles.
Yeah.
But with this, I watched the English and it was I almost wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
You know, it was so good.
Sometimes I have a little issue with Faye's dialogue. Faye's like a little anti-women. You know, a little anti-self-origin.
It's a bit dated. Don't forget, guys, it's 26, 7 years old.
Yeah. Oh,
But-
Jesus, I'm old.
You gotta look at it this way, too, it's like, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Damn you, Grappa.
Just view
Faye's
it.
dialogue.
I mean, any issues like that, just kind of remember that it is
Yeah.
a quarter century old, you know, and anything that we're producing now, 25 years from now, we would hope that they would remember, like, you know.
Yeah, right? Like, rights are not a pie. Faye does not have less rights because she's a woman.
Right.
And there's that super interesting episode where the character interacts with Vicious and is trans.
Yeah.
And Faye has that, like, love story / not love story with the character who
Very
interacts.
progressive for 1998.
That is 25 fucking years old, y'all.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Like, this series transgresses so many things. Even if you don't like it, just go watch it on Hulu or Crunchyroll, and then you're probably going to buy it anyways. Doesn't matter. Just buy it.
Enjoy
buy
it. Just enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to leave you with the outro and me going...
Oh, how's the series end? The
So,
last series is the last song is
The
great.
last episode is not My Funny Valentine anymore. So this is a whole thing we haven't even talked about, but in the English dub, they give lyrics to the closing song.
Yeah.
Except for the closing song is different in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Fucking art.
It's
Straight artistry.
and I got to say this one last thing. The last title card at the end of the last episode, you're going to carry that weight.
See you later. Yeah, you're gonna carry that weight.
It was always see you later, cowboy. See you next time,
later.
cowboy.
Yeah.
And
Until
then
next
it
time,
was
cowboy.
you're going to carry that weight. And I watched this whole series with my daughter who loved it too, and we looked at each other, we're like, oh, like you felt like the ton of bricks hit you. We're like, oh shit, you're right, because like Spike's end and everything, you're like, oh my god,
You're
I
gonna
am
carry
gonna
that
carry
weight.
that, and it's like that Beatles song, you're gonna carry that weight,
You're gonna-
and I just like it hits you the whole. Adam, you said it best. It is art. It is art at its finest.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I'm so glad you guys were along for the ride with me because. I appreciated it, but sometimes, you know, you see it yourself and you're like, well, this is great. And then you're like, well, blah, 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 blah.
Remember how much praise that I especially gave this, considering what the next text is going to be.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Spoilers!
So, dear audience, I have picked the next cast, and apparently Shaun is not a fan of Hummingbird Salamander by Vandermeer.
Not done yet.
Yeah.
We're
It's got that-
so in character right now because I
We are
have not even bought the
so-
book.
Yeah.
Sean's
I-
already reading
The
it.
book is up on my nightstand, but I haven't started it yet because I'm
100
actually,
pages in.
I'm actually in the middle of a historical alternate past book that my son read that he recommended to me.
What is it?
It's called Oddity.
Okay.
And so we lost the Louisiana War to the French, to Bonaparte.
Ooh.
And oddities are these objects that carry mysterious powers, but we can't predict what they are. So, like, there's a wine glass that continually pours wine out, but it gets dumped in a swamp somewhere.
I'll take that glass.
It's a mid-grade. Well, here's the thing, though. In that book, it makes the swamp. No one can find the glass to stop the swamp from building upon itself because the glass is spilled over.
It's a swamp of wine.
It's continually sporing out wine.
Dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Eli Brown. It's an interesting book. It's a mid grade, but we're gonna deal with Hummingbird Salamander by Jeff Vandermeer. And the grappas hit me. The grappas hit me.
It did its job.
Yeah, when the grappa drops.
Dude, you're
drunk.
also half a hazy IPA ahead of me.
I pounded that. 'cause
That's
it
your
was-
drink, though,
It was
right?
delicious.
Like,
I love me a hazy IPA. But if you're looking to get ahead of us, catch up with Jeff Vandermeer's Hummingbird Salamander. Make sure that you watch all of Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking love it.
Just don't watch the Netflix show. Watch
No,
the
no,
movie.
no.
Watch the
Just
series.
the anime.
Love it.
Yep. Maybe ignore Toys in the Attic and a couple of the other weird episodes.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Nah, watch them all.
Okay.
Yeah, watch
Yeah.
them all.
Watch 'em
No,
all.
watch them all. Watch the
And
whole thing.
You know what? Hit
It's
us
only
up at-
26.
Spark a doob.
Yep.
Eat another
Yes!
bowl.
Oh!
Enjoy the
Yeah.
whole thing
I
for
gotta,
what it is.
I gotta hate your vibe. I've lost my contact, so I lost my caller. So you know what? Yes, hit us up at nerdsofoldrepublic@gmail.com. I'll answer any emails a real human sends us, but I don't get real human emails. So that's that.
And don't forget, dear listeners, please email us with all of our most hated reads, watches, and drinks so that we can put together our unforgettable upcoming
God.
worst of
Our
episode.
lowlights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lowlights.
Grappa plus absinthe plus whatever else we didn't like throughout
Yeah.
the season, and I'm gonna need to sleep on someone's couch.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
Wow, I go.
We're doing it at Mike's house. We already decided.
All right, I got
Oh,
space. I got
all right.
space, man.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike. All right, so we appreciate that. And if you want to just support the cast, you know what would be great is up to a 5-star review on any of your podcast catchers, whatever it is, Apple, Spotify, Podbean. We'd appreciate that. And then also, we have a bookshop.org shop, and you can buy any books you want through there. We have some on our list. I'm going to add 36 Streets to our list of books you can buy through bookshop.org. It supports the podcast. It supports local bookstores by you because every order is supported by a bookstore closest to you, not just closest to us. So that's
Only
great.
buy your books through bookshop.org, Nerds of the Old Republic.
Yep.
That is all.
Hashtag fuck Jeff Bezos. Penis Rocket Man. That's what we call him at home. Penis Rocket Man. Yep. And if you want to get ahead or make sure you're ready for the next release with us, we're going to talk about Hummingbird Salamander. I'm kind of cringing here because I was going back and forth between two. I was like Brandon Sanderson, which is high fantasy, and the Cosmere, which is like hard magic systems.
We should do that at some point.
Yeah.
Brandon Sanderson is the
Put a
fucking
pin in that
man.
one.
I've
We'll
read.
put a pin in
I've read
that.
a few of his. Oh shoot! Light. Oh fuck! I'm forgetting the name. It's his
okay.
series he's working on right now. It's the big one. It's like it's 10 books. He's like 5
Set in
through,
the Cosmere.
and it's like they're 1,000-page bricks.
Okay.
I've read the first 2.5.
Wheel of Time?
Those. No.
he-
It's his
so-
original series.
So he finished the Wheel of Time.
Lightbringer, is that right? I don't
Lightbringer
know.
is in the series. The man literally did a Kickstarter and earned $40 million off a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Fuck. Why aren't we doing a Kickstarter?
Smashing
The
boundaries.
dude is prolific.
Yeah,
Damn.
literally.
I mean,
Stephen
he's-
King's got nothing on him.
Damn.
Honestly, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah. Let's put a pin in that for sure.
The highest earning current hard fantasy, high Renaissance fantasy.
Okay.
that
All
we
right.
can
Can we
imagine.
just say it now?
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
we're gonna
Wanna do
do. We're gonna do. What is it? The first thing we're gonna do is.
We got to pick a book, but Cosmere is his universe, like the MCU.
Okay. We'll do something Brandon Sanderson then.
Okay,
I like
so
it.
yeah, we're gonna do
Okay.
Hummingbird Salamander by Jeff Vandermeer, which Shaun is gonna punch me in the dick for, and then we're gonna do something Brandon Sanderson after that.
Okay, we're not going to do this
ahead.
for the show because they're
No.
too long. But the series
fine.
that I've read some of is Stormlight Archive. That's
The
what he's working
Stormlight,
on right now.
the Stormlight Archive is a huge
Yeah.
drop in his bucket.
Nerd.
The
Actually, the Stormlight Archive is a separate Cosmere. No, I'm just kidding.
the very ethos of our podcast is
You're right. The very ethos of our
So
All right, sign us off, goddammit, before we go on forever.
standards. I'm cool.
Oh well, I'm gonna go home.
We did it again!
Oh, damn it! No!
What you can't see, dear listeners, I literally knocked over a plate of soy sauce.
For
That's
the
it.
second
soy sauce.
time.
Didn't
sauce.
save it this time.
No.
You're gonna carry that weight, Adam.
You're gonna carry that way. Yeah, all right. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your listen. It'd be awesome if you could support us on any of your pod listeners with up to a 5-star rating, or bookshop.org/nerds of the old republic. You can find us there on any of our podcast episodes, and we get 50% of any purchase you make, whatever book you buy. Sorry, it's not grappa, but that's really affecting me right now. Thank you for your time. Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. And let's move on to Jeff Vandermeer. Keep drinking. Cheers.
Cheers.
See you, Space Cowboy.
Oh, that was perfect.
愛してたと嘆くにはあまりにも時は過ぎてしまった。まだ心のほころびを癒せぬまま風が吹いてる。一つの目で明日を見て、一つの目で昨日を見つめてる。君の愛のゆりかごでもう一度安らかに眠れたら、乾いた瞳で誰か泣いてくれ。知りたいだけ、泥の川に浸かった人生も悪くはない。一度きりで終わるなら、希望に満ちた絶望と罠が仕掛けられてるこのチャンス。何が良くて悪いのか、コインの表と裏みたいだ。どれだけ生きれば癒されるのだろう。 The real blues 本当の喜びが知りたいだけ。光るものの全てが黄金とは限らない。君が知りたいだけ、泥の川に浸かった人生も悪くはない。一度きりで